Allergies. However, we bulldogged through everything. How you doing? Welcome aboard. Appreciate all coming aboard. And we thank you. But first and foremost, hit that like button. Super chats go to the top, and we must start here. As we told you, Joel Embiid is a fraud, and he'll revert back to being the pyrite gold that he is. Guys, when you think of championship pedigree, does Joel Embiid's face pop up in your brain? When you think championship, you got to be kidding me, right? I mean, he went back to being who he was. The Knicks took that team apart. And the 76ers, they ended up quitting at the end of that game. They got beat by almost 40 points. Come on, man. 40 points. You almost get killed in a game one in the second round of the playoffs. And everyone over at IP's going, I apologize. Apologize to Joel for what? For what? He's a bum. He'll always be a bum. Guy's a bum. Telling me championship pedigree. Are you crazy? Nobody in their right mind would ever go, yeah, Joel will lead us to an NBA championship. He's a bum. No other way to look at it. Hey, how about this? Do me a favor. Anybody with any kind of brains in here, give me a word that defines Joel Embiid's career. I got one. Underachieving. Underachieving. I mean, this guy's not even in the conversation with Lindros. A bum. Hey, by the way, Daryl Morey, another bum. What exactly has that guy done? Okay. Injured. Give me another word. Give me another word. Flopper. How about this? Bitcher. Dude, that guy bitches more than anybody I know. Oh my God, what? I don't want to wear. God, what? This guy cries so much. Scam artist. All right? Complainer. Unlucky. Way to have some empathy, kid. Cry and be cry. Fragile. You guys get it. You're not snowed. You understand. You get it. Okay? Unprocessed. Oh my God, I love this. Squandered. All right. I love that. That's a great word, dude. Squandered. Yeah. 76ers scammed the fans for 20 years with the process. Guy's a bum. Knicks are just good. They struggled against the Hawks, though. Yeah, because Jaylen Brown hasn't been crying for 2 days. I'm talking about Joel and nobody. Who else they got in the East? How you doing? Okay. Bob Horner career. Very nice pull, my friend. Who the fuck is Seth Joyner? Throwaway game. Oh, it's a throwaway game. Embiid will, magically put some lip balm on his knee and he'll be ready to roll. How about this? Joel Embiid. Champion or fraud? Pick one. That's crazy. A day ago, you was dick. No, I was not. Wrong dude. Hey, guy. Wrong dude. I never in a million years, I told you he'd revert back to being who he was. Again, another guy bullshitting, lying, that we said, I've never given that guy praise. I don't even like Embiid, but he's had a lot of unlucky injuries at the worst moments. God, you got to be kidding me. Keep kissing a guy's ass who will never deliver. One game last time I checked, it's called a series. Oh yeah, he'll lead you like Moses, won't he? Give me a break. He's never going to be a champion because of OKC. Hey man, if you're great, you guys tell me all the time. No matter if Brady's in the building, you got to win, don't you? You got to win against people like that if you want to be considered great. Right? You got to beat those people. All right. Anyway, enough with that loser. So let me get to the great news. So Nick Sirianni's bulldog and his bouncer, who, by the way, I like, Big Dom, is signed to a contract extension. Hey, I'm a Big Dom fan. That head coach needs to have, somebody on the sidelines just to make sure, Nicky doesn't go off the rails and off the reservation again. This guy's got more titles than Michael Jordan. I mean, he's a coaching staff guy. He's security. He's a bouncer. He's Nick's personal bodyguard. This guy's got every title you get so they can keep his ass on the sidelines. By the way, he's a wanted asset. I dig the guy. I totally like it. I mean, that's his bodyguard. You know why? Because Nick acts like a child. So you got Big Dom there. Name me another. By the way, I think it's kind of cool. That's like Nick Sirianni's Luca Brasi. Right? That's like his Luca Brasi. Hey, Dom, Luca Brasi. There he is, right there. Big Dom, Luca Brasi. That's exactly what you got going there. I love it. Got to have the guy sitting next to Nick because the guy can't control himself on the sidelines. The owner said, Big Dom, you go stand on the sidelines. There you go. Make sure the coach doesn't get out of hand and act like an asshole on the sidelines, screaming at the fans, standing on the benches. Big Dom, you keep an eyeball on that. Or how about when like AJ and him were getting into that conversation? Big Dom was the guy that had to go over to the sidelines and kind of make that thing and straighten that shit out, didn't he? He had to straighten that shit out. Why? Because Nick is immature. League was going to throw his ass off the sidelines with Greenlaw's incident. He wasn't even personnel. That's why they made him personnel. Look, I like the guy. This guy's like his own dude now. This guy's got like shirts and shit. He's like his own, like John McMullen said, he's like his own brand. And he makes sure that he gives like, he gives like Nick Sirianni is like his napkins to wipe his eyes and shit. Big Dom is cool. Big Dom took AJ to Howie's office. Probably so. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, hey, way to go, Eagles. Make sure you sign that guy. All right. So let's get into some of the topics here. Big Dom is Eagle Mafia. See here. Sills. Konichi choked on the breakaway in overtime last night. Uri could have scored. That was shitty. They had a 2-goal lead last night, and they end up dropping that. Let me tell you something, man. You ain't beating that Carolina Panthers or Carolina Hurricane team. No way, man. Rob Brindamore and that shit. Carolina's good, man. And you gotta play 60 with them. I think Carolina's the best team in the East. I mean, Buffalo's gonna be tough. But I think that was a young moment for that young team. Okay. Nick is a head coach, and you get mad when he does head coach shit like fire Stoutland. Dude, that's not head coach like firing Jeff Stoutland. That's fucking dumb shit. Never mind, you say to yourself, he brings experience from working with Rivers, and he's never used any of that working with Rivers with Hurts. Nothing. Jalen Hurts and Phillip Rivers have nothing in common with how he coached with Phillip Rivers. Zero. Are you suggesting that Jalen Hurts has the same skill of a Phillip Rivers? Are you drunk? He's not in the same room. And firing Jeff Stoutland, I'll say it on May 5th, any day you want. It's the stupidest move he's made in coaching personnel since he's been in Philly. Stupid. Don't worry. It'll be his undoing. Carolina have been building towards this with the same players for 5 years. Yes, agreed. Get this. He's a caboose. Just like George Seifert was. George Seifert won more than him, and he got fired. Hey, M. Reyes, you think that George Seifert, that Nick Sirianni's won more than George Seifert in the first 5 years? He won 2 fucking Super Bowls in his first 5 years. Okay? And they blew him up because he was a caboose rider. Here, Sirianni. How many people believe that Sirianni's on the hot seat if this new coordinator doesn't pan out? How about this, guys? Let's take M. Reyes' dumbass take. If Sirianni's offense fails, you think they fire Sirianni by the end of the year? Do you? You think they fire Sirianni by the end of the year? Sirianni's gone. You tell me if absolutely fired by week 12. Okay? Your offense doesn't come through with all these changes and you shit the bed again. They're both gone, the quarterback and, hey, get this. Here's something to think about, okay? Here's something to think about. If you were so successful, once again, why all the dramatic changes? You tell me, why all the dramatic changes? Why didn't you just keep doing what you're doing if you're so successful? If you're so successful, why not stick to what you're doing? Wait. Evolve? That's not evolving. That's changing. That's not evolving. Oh, hold on. So wait a minute, folks. The scheme got stale. What are you going to do? Turn him into Phillip Rivers? He's not that player. Eagles front office doesn't have patience for long-term. Absolutely. All the dramatic changes because Nick can't create a good product on the field for the fans to watch. Too much booing and criticizing. The sorry-ass passing attack. Absolutely. It called the Volsils because we want to be better. You got to start paying players on defense. Get this. Like I said, here, very few times this guy's got anything. Most of the time, I just let him post because he's a dummy. 65 and 30, and the coach is on the fucking hot seat again. Go figure. All that great winning, and you've changed the entire football team. Yeah, okay. Nobody's changing anything anywhere. Get this. Would we agree with this? Of all the successful football teams in the NFL, the Eagles have made the most schematic change of any team that made the playoffs last year. Would you not agree? Would you not agree that the Eagles made the most changes of any team that made the playoffs? Changing the coordinator again. Bringing all new wideouts in. Okay? Sills, of all the OCs that Jalen has had, did any of them require Jalen to do anything radically different from the previous coordinator? That's such a great take. No. Now, this coordinator's asking him to do things that even Kevin Patullo never asked him to do. That Brian didn't ask. That even Shane didn't ask. This new coordinator is asking for schematical changes he's never seen. Okay? And here, let's go here. How is Jalen Hurts going to develop Mekhi Lemon? How is he going to do that? With a receiver that is basically an inside slot guy. What's going to be the change here? Hurts starts throwing across the middle of the field. There'll be more turnovers in the game. By the way, everyone's like this. So look what the offense did numbers-wise for A.J. Brown and for Devontae Smith. Yeah, because you only threw to two people. Those guys got the bulk of all the targets. They got the bulk of all the targets. I want to show you something here. So let's go back here. Let's go back here. I want to show you. I want to show you this. I should have wrote this down. And I looked at it. So let's go here. Here we go. 2021 regular season. I want to show you this. Targets. It's actually 22 when AJ showed up. 2022 regular season. Okay. 145, 136, 281, 544. 2022. 2023. 158, 112, 270 out of 525. 2024. 2024. Holy shit. 97, 89. 10, 186 out of 418. And then let's look at last year. 5 regular season. 113, 121 out of 464. So here's where I'm going. Ever since this guy has had A.J. Brown, 2022, of the 544 targets, 300 of them were to 2 dudes. In 2023, okay, of 525 targets, 290 were to 2 dudes. In 2024, it dropped all the way down to 186 out of 400. And this past season, 450. The targets were 250. Dude, it's predictable because he never went anywhere else. Of course, those guys were going to get numbers. Those guys were going to get on numbers because you know why? Everyone knew where the ball was going. That's why they freaking changed the offense. They changed the offense because it was so predictable because the quarterback didn't go anywhere else. Now, you're going to do things where you're going to spread the football around. Sills, all of the OCs that Jalen has had, right. Sills, let's say hypothetically, Hurts has a good year under Mannion. What would the biggest need next year be? Replacing Barkley? Yes. Barkley's the odd man out right now. Absolutely. Barkley, if Saquon Barkley doesn't rush for 1,500 yards, your offense is going to be like 25. Here, how is Jalen Hurts going to use Mekhi Lemon? How's he going to do it? How is he going to do it? How's he going to do it? Think about those targets. I want to give you a for instance. Let me show you something over here too. Let's go here. Almost, like I said, 69% of Jalen Hurts' throws went to 2 dudes. Almost 70%. Of every 10 passes, 7 were going to 2 guys. It's a defensive coordinator's dream. Here's a quarterback. Let's use, since you guys think that he's elite, let's take a look at, let's go down here too. Let's use the Rams, since Mannion is the offense you're using. Okay? Puka Nacua. Get this. There were 581 targets in Los Angeles. 200 of the targets, 224 of the targets went to 2 dudes, Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua. The rest were spread out, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 25, 35, 45. All of them were spread out. That's a spread offense. That's an unpredictable offense. I still can't fathom Jalen never took ownership and chose to use the slot or the tight end to open up the offense and open up the outside for AJ and Smitty. I put that on Hurts. Absolutely. Let me ask you something, Duel. Do you think throwing to two dudes the last 5 years has helped those receivers in any way? And maybe that's one of the reasons why the offense has been bottom 10 for the last 5 years. Sills, retooling this team without having a dramatic drop back will be tough. It all revolves around the quarterback calling my shot. How he takes Sorsby in supplemental draft using a second-round pick. That's coming up soon, too. You can't survive that way. Absolutely true. Why did Adams throw to all those? Who did Adams or Rodgers throw to all those years while Adams was on the roster? Bro, you're talking about one of the greatest. And here's the difference between Aaron Rodgers and freaking Jalen Hurts. Aaron Rodgers on the move, throwing the ball, was a weapon. He created lanes and passing on the run and moving. He threw on the run. He wasn't a runner, but he moved around in the pocket, creating passing lanes. That's what made him one of the greatest of all time, was the fact that that guy, I mean, he was a mobile quarterback that threw on the run. Hurts can't throw on the run. I mean, Aaron Rodgers will go down as one of the greatest sprint out quarterbacks in NFL history, and he's also one of the most accurate. Baker Mayfield, best year, Mike Evans and Godwin, two dudes. Bro, you're spreading the Tom Brady, two dudes. Okay, you forget the number one thing in the Tom Brady offense. Folks, tell this idiot what the number one thing in a Tom Brady offense. Hey, Bob, tell this idiot what the number one thing in a Tom Brady offense is. Edwards and Godwin. Thank you, Kyle. Gronk. Check down. Gronk and check down. They had Gronk. Every year. And by the way, that's what you have in Kansas City. Correct. Got to be fucking kidding. Dude, an Andy Reid offense is based out of the tight end position. How good were Andy Reid's tight ends when he had them? They didn't win all those get to those NFC champ. They got the NFC championship games because of McNabb's ability to threaten the middle of the field. Nothing wrong with it either. It's knowing that the D is giving you and playing to your strengths, unlike our team this year. Montana was the best at spreading the ball around. And Brady's in there. What was McNabb's percentage of throws over the middle of his career? Once again, McNabb moved around early in his career. Hurts can't throw in the run. Hey, how many people in here believe Jalen Hurts is a good passer on the run? In sprint out. Hey, Bob, do they even run sprint out? So here's what you don't do in Philly in the passing game. You don't check down. You don't have check down passes. You don't have a screen game. And you have no sprint out. You know why the guy can't throw for 4K? Because he doesn't do small ball things. Check down, screens, and sprint out. He does none of that. If Jalen Hurts threw 100 checkdowns, he'd throw for 4,300 yards every year. Okay? He'd throw for 4,300 yards. So it's not who did Aaron throw to besides Adams. It's that the defense knew Aaron could do so they needed to defend. The threat was real. That's right. By the way, Bob, they were never afraid of Aaron Rodgers' legs. They were afraid of him moving around in the pocket and then outside the pocket when he got out in the perimeter. Dude, a guy taking off with his legs, like Lamar Jackson or Jalen or any of these guys, Josh Allen, taking off and going vertical versus a guy hanging out behind the line of scrimmage. To deep coordinators, that guy that hangs out behind the line of scrimmage, those are the more deadly guys because their eyes are down the field, right? When you take off running and you go vertical, your eyes lower and it's over. Secondary could play up. You know why Aaron Rodgers played with so much space? He played with so much, and this is where Sean Mannion came from. The reason that he was so elite was because he stayed behind the line of scrimmage. He moved around, kept his head down the field, looking for the open space. That's what made that guy fucking elite. When you get quarterbacks like Lamar who take off running, you want that because that's the end of the play. And you're counting on the athleticism to get the yards. When Rodgers is back there, he's scanning the field still. Hurts is horrible at sprint out. He doesn't do it. He's horrible at check down. He doesn't do it. And he's horrible at screens. He doesn't do it. Now you're going to implement that? And you're going to try to sprint him out? Based on what? Based on what? There has to be more here. Let's see here. We don't have to, Sills. He's horrible at something you've never seen him do. We're 7 years. We're 7 years in. The topic is, how is he going to grow Mekhi Lemon? How are they going to develop him? If the quarterback does none of these things that require sprint out, screen, check down, how are you developing him? In routes? Sills, the way Jalen plays leaves no wiggle room. If we had a screen game, Barkley would not be an Eagle. He's not that guy. Gainwell would still be here, splitting time with Tank. Again, here's the thing you ask yourself. Even with Devontae and A.J. Brown, was the passing game ever elite? No. What makes you think Devontae and Lemon are going to make the passing game elite? Help me. I'm open. How are you going to help Mekhi Lemon develop? Dan, it took Vic 10 years in jail time to mature as a passer. That's not what happened, folks. What happened 10 years in, he had to become a passer because he got older and he was taking hits. So Hurts was 17th in turnovers. Nick's number 1. Prescott and Stafford. Hurts wasn't even in the passing offense. Get this. Here's where a guy, again, doesn't get it. You just drafted a wide receiver number 1. You have another number 1 wideout that you took at the 10th pick. You traded another first-round pick for AJ. You theoretically have 3 ones at wideout, and you just signed a guy that's a second-round pick at tight end. You brought Goddard back and signed 3 other wide receivers. And this guy's trying to tell you they don't care about an elite passing game. Then you've got more players right now in the offense at one place at wide receiver with first rounders than any other position on your offense. Think about that. Of all your offensive positions, you theoretically have 3 first-round picks at wide receiver in your room. And you don't care about passing game. Yeah, okay. Let's put the word elite aside, Sills. What rank do you think the passing game needs to be in order to free up Barkley to be the key to the success of the team this year? Dude, if you're 15th and you can hang out around 15 and that defense on the other side of the ball can hang out at around 10, you're going to be in the NFC title game. If you could just get that kind of balance, okay? The offense has been bottom 10 passing for 5 years. All those pass catchers open up the run game. So you're telling me that you think Elijah Moore, Dontavian Wicks, Devontae Smith, and a rookie are going to open up the passing game more for Barkley than A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith? Seals Laurie, with his impatience, knows the window's closing for this coach and quarterback. That's why all the changes have been made in 26. It's tell all be all see. Yes, I agree. ESPN labeled AJ as a patriot on their website because he is. All of you people in here that said he was never going anywhere, of course he's leaving. He's out. This thing's done. This thing was done months ago, like we told you. It's waiting for June 2nd. June 2nd. It's over. The changes were made to prepare for a mediocre O-line and an expensive defense at 27. Dude, a mediocre O-line? Wicks is a good route runner. Do your homework. Do your homework. Brian Gutekunst said there was no place for him in the Green Bay offense. Do your homework. He didn't see a place for him. Nobody gives a shit. We have more than enough to cover his shitty production. So A.J. Brown has like the third most receiving yards and or the fourth most receiving yards in pro football since he got here in 22. And you believe a rookie, Elijah Moore, Dontavian, are going to cover for it. And I got to save my voice because I'm not going to debate with idiots. The key to opening up the passing game is not, I don't believe that. I think it's Barkley. Okay? It's Barkley. Sales. So the 49ers are number one in cap space at $71 million. You think Garrett put them over the top? Garrett's going to put any team like that over the top. Garrett he's the best player in the league. Okay, wait a minute. I want to show you guys something here. Okay. I want to show you something. So let's just do this. Let's go here. Dontavian Wicks. Okay. His best year is 39 catches, 500 yards. Wicks. Let's see Hollywood Brown. Best year is 6 years ago. And he's 28, and that was 6 years ago. Last year, he had 49 catches for 587 yards on Kansas City with Mahomes. Let's go Elijah Moore. And he had Mahomes. Elijah Moore's best year. Or actually, his best year was 23. 50 catches for 600 yards. 40, actually. And it was in Cleveland. Okay. So all that, 7, 9, that's 1,600 yards with 3 dudes. One of them had Mahomes. You think you're replacing a guy who's averaged like 1,300 yards, 1,400 yards, and 100 catches with 3 guys that best years are behind him? Seals, I'm hearing Brett Veach is interested in AJ. My God, AJ Brown with Patrick Mahomes would be scary. I mean, if I'm AJ, all of a sudden Kansas City parachuted in, and you put AJ Brown on the other side of Xavier Worthy, AJ Brown will go to Canton if he goes to Kansas City. Could Howie offer AJ and Woolen for Gonzo? They're not getting rid of Gonzalez. So aren't great quarterbacks supposed to make their team better? Sounds like Sills is saying Mahomes is really as great. Mahomes is really as great as, well, all thought. Okay. After Tyreek Hill left, name me one wide receiver he won those other 2 Super Bowls with that you count as being great. He's not playing with any Hall of Fame wideouts. He's never played with a Hall. He will never play with a Hall of Fame wide receiver in his entire career in Kansas City. And Tyreek Hill's not going to the Hall of Fame. He didn't play with any superstar players. Like who? I'm not bashing. I'm asking you how he's going to develop Mekhi Lemon. Not bashing. Yeah, give the Rams AJ so you will never beat them. Dude, Sean McVay has already stamped a resume that will, but he's just turned 40. This guy's younger than Aaron Rodgers. Seals, I know we traded for Gennard, but is it possible to inquire about Crosby? No. You got Jalen Carter you got to pay. You just gave a guy $25 million. Bro, you guys told me you can't pay everybody. Get this. Developing people is throwing to two people. That's not developing an offense. He did not develop Devontae Smith. That's why you're at the bottom of the fucking pack. You've been a bottom 10 passing team for 5 years. You didn't develop Devontae Smith. You threw to two dudes. Sills is McVay still the youngest? I don't know that. All right, let's move to another topic. Yeah, I don't know how Hurts is going to develop Mekhi Lemon with Sean Mannion. I have no idea. All right. Eli Stowers. In this new offense, now listen, let me ask you, okay? This new offense, they're going to try to spread the ball around, right? They're going to try, do we agree? They're going to try to spread the ball around. Is that right? Correct? Kyle. They're going to try to spread the ball around. You guys agree? Bob? They're going to try to spread it around, right? Everybody understand? You guys just got through saying, M. Reyes just got through saying, there's many bodies that you're going to try to spread the ball around. Is that right? Okay? You're going to try to do everything in your power to try to get the football in the hands of so many different guys. Is that right? Do you agree? Hey, guys, stop fucking crying. We're doing topics. Stop your fucking moaning. We're wanting to move the ball around. There you go, Mr. Hill. Now you're on point. Okay. Doesn't it make more sense to try to get Eli Stowers into being more effective and playing over Goddard and getting him more implemented into the offense? If you're going to run a spread offense and threaten the middle of the field? I mean, Lemon, I get it. He's the first rounder. But doesn't it make more sense to have a guy threaten the middle of the field? So for me, I think you're hoping Eli Stowers beats out Dallas Goedert by week 3. He's the better pass catcher, supposedly. And it's not important if he's blocking. It's more important that you start to threaten the middle of the field. Dallas Goedert's who he is. You know who Dallas Goedert is. Does Dallas Goedert even fit in this new offense? You know, everyone keeps asking the question about Barkley fitting in. How does Dallas Goedert fit into this offense? He doesn't look like Tucker Kraft. Eli Stowers looks like Tucker Kraft. He blocks. They're going to be running stretch plays. And they're going to try to threaten, excuse me, they're going to try to threaten the middle of the field. Goddard doesn't do that. Plus, he's older. And you just drafted this guy in the second round. My opinion, getting Lemon up to speed. Get this. You're not running a fucking power offense anymore. You're running a finesse offense, asshole. You're not running that offense any longer. You're spreading the ball out. Guy, you can't have it both ways. You're not a power run team anymore. You're now a spread offense. There's a reason you got 5 new pass catchers, a new passing game coordinator. How freaking stupid are you? You talk like you're going to be the same team you were the last 5 years, and you're not. You've changed everything. You changed the O-line coach. You're changing the offensive line. You're changing the pass catchers. Everything you've done in the past is out. Okay? Crying. You're the one crying, guy. Because if you were the same team, you would have done things to help Barkley, not the passing game. Name me one thing that they've done to help Barkley. One thing. Name me one thing this offseason. Who? Chris Cooper? The 4th and 5th round draft choices that got, excuse me, in the draft? Who? What? What have you done to help the run game? Name me one thing. One thing you've done to help the run game. Absolutely nothing. You're preying on health. Wicks doesn't help your run game. You've done nothing. This is all about tight ends and screens and new offense. He won't even play this year. The chances of Bell playing is 10%. I can't believe people can't follow this. Well, you're not. Some are. Sills, the West Coast offenses use the fullback as a moving piece. I think Stour will be a moving piece because he isn't in line like an inline tight end. He's a big mismatch in space versus the linebackers. That's a spread offense. That's correct. Doesn't every team pray for health? Not when your entire offensive line, according to you guys. What kind of talking points is this? Bro, you're hoping for fucking wishful thinking? Right. Get this. No, not every team is hoping for health, except that their quarterback. You hope your quarterback doesn't get hurt. What are you hoping for? Okay. Well, then cover. Well, here's your talking point. Well, then why did you suck last year? Sills, did you ever think we let a Vic protege leave to a division rival so the change in offense would keep them off balance? CP probably knew the offense front and back. It's not a bad take. But he also knows the quarterback's strengths and limitations. Let's see here. Charles. Hoping for a redhead to pull a Foles. Sills, what if they do two-back set like San Francisco, but instead have Stowers opposite Barkley catching out of the backfield? Just a thought. Hey, Danelle, so you think Sean Mannion is going to be Kyle Shanahan and be that creative, and the quarterback is going to be able to handle all that creativity when in 6 years he's never done it? So you're going to add this wrinkle to the Eagle offense that they've never had. Another wrinkle. Put two backs back there, and they're going to run like sets out of the backfield and run them jet sweeps like they did with Debo. Is that what you're saying? They tried to run 24's offense with 94's O-line. Sills yell. I'm not yelling. I got my allergies are up. When McMullen was the main person saying it's for the run game. Well, okay, James, what have they done for the run game this offseason? Name me one thing they've done. Drafting a wideout, a slot wideout, bringing Dontavian Wicks in from a spread offense in Green Bay. What have they done? Sills, at this point, I'm asking for any. Okay. Here's a topic. Here's a topic. Cosmo. Appreciate it. Who gets back to form in 2026? Who gets back to form? Landon, Cam, or Lane? Who gets back to form? Or does any of them? Cam. None of them. Landon and Lane. Lane. Lane and Dickerson. Here. I don't think Landon's ever coming back. 14 surgeries? No way. Cam, maybe. He's too young. I'm going to go with young. Lane's going to be great. But getting back to 17, how many people believe that Lane will play north of 15 games this year? By the way, for the Eagles to be successful, how many games does Lane have to play in 2026? The record with him is insane. The record without him is insane. How many games does Lane Johnson have to play for the Eagles to have success in 26 offensively? 13, 14, 10. Isn't that what he played last year? 14. How many games did he play last year? He played 10. For a pack of lunges, cough drops, or Hall's sleeve, you think? Hey, bro, this just happened this morning. It's all good. Thank you, though, bro. Love you, man. It's allergies. My voice will probably go by the end, but it's all good. I'll be shocked if we don't have 10 combined games missed by Lane, Landon, and Cam. Hope I'm wrong. I think you're right. I think you're going to be in a position where, let's see here. Saying the foot isn't a big deal is uninformed. Maybe the Sixers should move to Pittsburgh. Or how about this? Maybe they should move to Jersey. Lane been around a long time. He knows what supplements he needs. He will be ready. The docs, listen, I think if you play north of 4, I think he's got to play 14 games. No, I don't. Let me ask you something. Okay. Here. Jordan Mailata was like an infant and delivered him. Cosmo, you tell me. This guy never played a down of football in his life. This guy didn't even know if he would ever play in his entire life. Jeff Stoutland molded him into being one of the top left tackles in all the NFL. How in God's name could you be fully committed to having somebody coach you that didn't have any impact on your success? How are you fully committed? You're going to listen. You're going to go along with what's being told. You're going to go along with the game plan. But deep in your heart, one coach made you who you were. Dude, when coaches have giant impacts on people's lives, you remember that coach for the rest of your life. You go along because you just do. It's professional sports. But to sit there and say that Jeff Cooper or Chris Cooper is going to have any impact whatsoever on Lane Johnson, Cam Jurgens, and Jordan Mailata is absurd. It's absurd. It's human nature. It's a business, got to move on. They are. They're moving on. But Gary Cobb said it perfectly. Gary Cobb said it. Those guys are still talking about Stoutland. They're still in touch with him. He thinks it's a problem. Cooper's impact is directly tied to the O-line health. Hey, get this. So if the O-line comes back to form because of health, would it have been right to fire Jeff Stoutland? If it turns out to be health, you fired a guy because the guys weren't healthy? and you put the run game on one guy, just I truly believe Milan and Stout will still have a relationship. They love him. Of course they will. I'm not saying, by the way, they're not going to listen to Chris Cooper. That's not what I'm saying. Who was our O-line before? I don't think it was Mud. It may have been. It may have been Mud. I don't know. Stoughton wasn't open to change. That's not true. I don't think Stoughton liked listening to Kevin Patullo. Stoughton didn't get fired. Yes, he did. Stoughton got canned because he was part of the worst offense in football last year. So how come the head coach didn't get fired then? I thought it was Nick's offense. So my question is, why did Laurie allow Stoughton to be demoted? Because Stoughton is like Doug Peterson. He's set in his ways. The organization loves people like Nick Sirianni. You're a Gumby coach. Whatever you want, you'll fit to make that work. It's actually a great way to coach today. I don't think that's a Philadelphia Eagle deal. I think that's got a lot to do with everybody in the organizations. And I'll also say this to you. I think play calling head coaches have more autonomy with their teams. Because if you fire a head coach that's a play caller, you're firing two people. When you're Nick, you're one dude. You're not really in charge of anything when it comes to play calling, defensive play calling, personnel. He really has no decision making on anything. But he runs everything as that CEO guy. If you fire Sean McVay, you're firing the play caller of the Rams. If you fire Kyle Shanahan, you're firing the play caller of the Niners. Same with LaFleur. Same with Andy. You're firing two people. And it's rare to find those two people. See here. Let's see here. So I find it very hard to believe that there's an offense that Stout couldn't design a blocking scheme for. Gaining Stout's buy-in would have made selling the change to the O-line easier. Yes. Seals, if Clint Hurt asked you to join his D-line staff, would you do it? Been asked 4 times. One guy came on the program and told you that he offered me the D-line job years and years ago. And I got offered a personnel job with the Raiders back in the day. And that was Butch and Carolina and with the Browns. And I got a job opportunity with Al Davis to work in personnel. And I said no. I took a broadcasting job instead with the Raiders. Philadelphia Eagle offensive line coach Jeff Stoutland, widely considered one of the best position coaches, declined a reshuffled role under head coach Nick Sirianni, prompting his exit. Where'd you get that from? Still, Hurts tries to force throws over the middle. Lemon won't make a full season. Not going down the injury thing here with that. Jalen Hurts throwing on time across the middle to Mekhi Lemon. You better get the mass unit ready. I wasn't going to say that until the beginning of the season, but you better get ready. Why does the Eagles' O-line offense fall apart when Lane doesn't play? Here, David, offensive lines and defensive lines are two different things. Okay? You've got to have 5 guys on the same page. And if you don't have 5 guys on the same page, I don't care how good you are. One guy's not up to speed. Another guy's not good. Another guy's limited. Another guy's hurt. Playing in the offensive line is so much more skill set. No comment. So now the Eagles are the only team that could throw over the middle and get somebody. No. He doesn't throw across the middle of the field. And he doesn't throw on time. What do you think that's going to result in? Get the head coach out of. No, bro, these guys deserve every opportunity to change this. Hurts deserves every opportunity. Could someone get Vito? Hey. Let's see here. 100 passes over the middle since 2022. So wait a minute, Brandon, is that correct? Where'd you get that stat? Thank you, Carmine. I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse. I do. I think he's a really good play caller. I think he's got a good concept of O'Connell, is it? I think he's pretty good. The buck stops with the head coach. The way the defense plays, the way the offense plays after last year. Hey, David, we'll see. Is that right? There's been 99 throws across the middle. So wait a minute. Let me take a look at this. Hold on here. This can't be right. Less than 99? So Jalen Hurts has had how many attempts? 2,393 passing attempts. Are you guys really telling me it's 99 throws? Out of 2,400 passes, he's only thrown the ball across the middle of the field less than 100 times? It can't be right. $100 over the middle. 100 over the middle over 5 years is less than 2 a game. That can't be true. That can't. Where'd you get that stat from? Out of 2,400 passes, he's thrown less than 100 passes across the middle of the field. And you're going to want to run a spread offense. That can't be true. I don't even believe that. That can't be right. It can't be right. Jeff Kerr said that? Did Jeff Kerr say that? So out of 2,400 passes, He's thrown less than 100. Man. Okay. Sills, Lemon and Smitty need space. Throwing them into the sideline limits effectiveness, creating separation only to get back shoulder throws doesn't work. It turns route running into pitch and catch. Not my stat. Sounds like Jeff Kerr said that. Is it because he can't or he don't want to throw it across the middle? I don't know. He's had 2,393 passes. 2,393 passes in his year starting as a starting quarterback. And he's had 100 passes across the middle of the field. And now you're going to try spreading the offense. Since 2022, Hurts is 77 of 99 between the hash marks for 855. And he's thrown 99 passes. And you're going to run a West Coast where almost all your work is done between the hash marks. What a dramatic change. That's crazy, Carmine. Okay? I mean, that's crazy. Thanks, Rasputin. That's cool, man. In this offense, Hurts is going to have to be willing to take chances to make the D respect it. He'll have a better season in this offense with more picks. Z, let me know if that's true. Maybe it's because his number one wide receiver, David, I think that could easily be because of AJ. There could be something to the fact that the quarterback doesn't like to throw across the middle and that AJ can't work in the slot. That easily could be also. But 99 passes. Hey, let me ask you this. So you've had Shane Steichen, Kellen Moore, Shane Steichen, Kellen Moore, Brian Johnson, KP. Not one of those guys, not one, including Kellen Moore or Shane, had the quarterback throwing across the middle of the field. It's one thing to call those other guys shitty play callers. It's another thing when two of them are head coaches. $99 passes out of 2,400 attempts is egregious. No wonder you're at the bottom of the list in passing. That's great. Hey, I'm telling you, that number right there alone is probably the number one reason that they're changing this offense is because of that. There is no doubt. It's true. I looked into it. He's been 5 to 7% intermediate thrower since he's been in the league. That's 93% outside the numbers. That's why he struggles in zone. Holy shit. Twiz. That I did not know it was 93% to the numbers. And if the quarterback didn't like it, why didn't he bitch about it? And by the way, Twiz, that can't be right. I mean, that can't be right, dude. Those numbers cannot be right. Because I've never heard of that. In NFL football, I'm with you, Carmine. That can't be right. No chance. 93% of the passes are to the numbers. Crowley, you're one of the biggest Hurts backers. Is that really true? Wow. 93% of all of Hurts' 2,400 passes have gone to the numbers. I mean, that's actually unbelievable. No, by the way, you're right. Now I get it why they're changing. They have to change. Yeah. Even Sills is trying to defend throwing. Yeah, that can't be true. I've never heard of such a thing. I didn't know it was that over the top. Holy shit. I mean, dude. So, like, get this. 9 out of every 10 passes is to the sideline. Hey, Twiz, is that what you're saying? 9 of every 10 passes in the last 5 years have been to the numbers? Okay. If that is true, that's why they drafted Lemon. Correct. Yes, Carmine. Yes. Sills, do you agree? It's a timing thing. I don't know. I don't know what to make of that. Yeah, we're out of bounds. I truly believe it's because of the wide receiver they brought in, building the passing offense around AJ's skill set the last 5 years. You don't think it's a coincidence, the passing game? No, the passing game fell off because of Barkley. Because the passing attempts fell. 99 passes since 2022. That's what I've seen. I looked it up. Out of 2,400 passing attempts from Jalen Hurts, 93% of them are to the sidelines. Nick probably went like this with the owner and the GM. This is totally unsustainable. And they got ahead of it before they had a train wreck year. Actually, Nick's right to do this. I didn't think it was that crazy. I did not. Wow. Seals, is this going to make it to X? Yeah. If Hurts has 2,393 passing attempts with only 100 attempts across the middle while completing 64% of his passes, then he's incredible. But that's why they're changing it. It's a bottom 10 passing offense. Hurts is incredible, throwing to two dudes. Even I'm going to defend Jalen. That's crazy. And for the amount of winning, thank God Barkley arrived. This thing would have been out of gas. This thing was going the other way in 23. Barkley changed and redirected it. The offense after 22 was heading in a failure direction until Saquon showed up in 24. And he saved the offense because they became a predominant. Now we know why. They became a predominantly run football team because they're throwing the two areas of the field. So it's the biggest problem with the offense. I'm losing my voice. With rookie offense, coordinators have been inability to make the game's adjustments. It's crazy. All right. I got to ask Zander about this. Listen, I'm going to defend Jalen here. I can't believe the amount of winning. 93% of all of his passes have gone to the sidelines. This can't be true. Now we know why. And Nick was right to do this. By the way, I'm not throwing shade on it. I'm really not. All right. Without further ado, we bring our boy in, Big Z. Z, appreciate you coming aboard here, man. Thank you. Hey, Z, I'm losing my voice, man.
I hear it, brother. I hear it. Well, you tee me up with a question, and I'll let it rip. All right, man. Rest them vocals for a couple minutes here while I'm on the show.
All right, here. Is that number right?
I mean, I don't know that I can confirm like 93%, but if you do the math, since 2022, Hurts has thrown 1,670 passing attempts, or right around that number. And the number of 99 is certainly true. So it's, I don't know what that percentage is on that. I'm not doing it off the top of my head, but it sounds like it's above 90. This is
He's at 2393 passing attempts in his career.
In his whole career. So this is since 22. The 99 stats since 22.
Okay.
So here, I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up.
Since AJ got there.
I'll pull it up. I mean, I don't want to rag on him here, but look, this is an interesting. It
is totally. I don't believe it.
Yeah, give me a sec. I'll pull this up.
I mean, wow. No wonder Nick got ahead of it.
All right, so here is the let me pause these stupid ads, man. All right. The popular saying on social media doesn't throw in the middle of the field. All right, whatever. Hurts is an efficient quarterback in the middle of the field, but the pass attempts are alarming. The Eagles quarterback had just 28 attempts between the hash marks last season, which was a career high. So think about that. I mean, 28 in a year is a career high. How does that compare to the rest of the NFL? 28th in the league and the fewest amongst quarterbacks that played 14-plus games. So in other words, he's 28th because a couple guys missed some games and didn't have more than him. Since 2022, Hurts has thrown just 99 pass attempts between the hash marks. That's 2 fewer than Drake May and 1 more than Caleb Williams. Both were rookies last season. Hurts has 6 fewer attempts between the hash marks than Tom Brady, and Brady retired at the end of 23 season.
So what do you make of this?
He doesn't throw the ball in the middle of the field. That's what I make of it. He doesn't like to, for whatever reason. He doesn't. It's not where he. What's that? You think
that's coordinator or him?
I mean, to this degree, it's him. I mean, remember, Stills, they do have Dallas Goedert, who's a middle of the field guy. They do have Devontae Smith, who can catch the ball over the middle of the field. I mean, they just traded for Dontavian Wicks. They signed Hollywood Brown. They drafted Mekhi Lemon. These are all guys who win a lot of times in the middle of the field. I mean, Mekhi Lemon he's a middle of the field dude.
Yep.
All his college production, they drafted him.
A Puka Nacua dude.
Right. They drafted him on middle of the field. So here's some more numbers here. Since 22, Hurts is 77 of 99 throwing between the hash. That's pretty good. Now, there's a lot of different reason for that, but that's something I'm sure people will debate. 10 touchdowns, 3 picks, 123 rating, only behind Lamar Jackson, who has 40 more attempts than him. So you can see this is a Jeff Kerr article. A lot of love for Jeff Kerr. I'm a fan of Jeff Kerr. He comes on our morning show often.
Yeah,
but you could see here he wrote he's going to have to change his game. You have to change his game a little bit. So it is a little bit of an alarming number. I mean, when you're talking about Tom, you have less than Tom Brady. I mean, and Brady retired 3 years ago. I mean, you're not throwing the ball to the middle of the field. So, it's almost unprecedented because we say all this and it would almost sound like we're winning 5 games a year. They're not. So it's really an unprecedented style of winning that the Eagles have done here. And will it continue? I don't know if it will continue. Will it change? It looks like it's going to have to change. Now, that's more driven by their personnel moves and their coaching moves than the actual need to change. I mean, if I say to you, they need to change, you could say back to me, well, why do they need to change when they've won at a 60, 70% clip? I would say they shouldn't. But when you draft Sean Mannion, I don't know what that was. Stupid ad. When you hire Sean Mannion, when you draft Mekhi Lemon, when you trade away A.J. Brown, who made a lot of those throws on the outside of the numbers, it looks like it's going to have to change a little bit. So will he be able to do it at a higher clip? I don't know. We haven't seen it much. I mean, Devontae Smith catches a lot of balls on the outside the numbers. Like I see Sean in here saying Devontae Smith's an outside the number deep ball catcher. Dude, no, he's not. No, he's not, Sean. That is not where Devontae Smith thrives as a deep ball player. Come on, dude. He does not do that. He is a great run after the catch player. He gets open. He's a phenomenal route runner. I watched him in Alabama when the fucking Heisman, and I know it's college, so it's way different, but damn near none of them were deep balls. They were mesh routes and slant routes where he took it to distance. So I disagree vehemently that Devontae Smith is a deep ball receiver. I mean, you can make that argument with AJ, but they've also kind of limited AJ to being that too, haven't they?
Yeah.
You get him in man coverage instead of trying to get him across the middle or run a route. It's go ball or bust, And then look, I do think this sheds light probably on why A.J. Brown doesn't want to play here anymore. He probably just doesn't want his prime years of being an NFL receiver to be limited to a go ball and a hitch route. Look, what do you care more about? Hurts, the team. The team wins a lot. I understand it. It's concerning because they're trying to switch to this style of offense. That's what they've done. So, very interesting, Sills. That's a crazy stat, though, dude. 99 attempts since
99 out of 2,393 throws.
I mean, I almost feel like you should have 10 attempts per game.
But here's what I don't get. When you look at the success level at him throwing, even with those limited passes, it's high success. Why don't they stick with it? I mean, it was 123 quarterback rating or some shit I saw, right?
Yeah, well, that's because, again, that'll be something that people will debate. But when you throw 80%.
Oh, if I see something that's a success, 100 attempts, that's a fair sample, man. I mean, I want to do more of that.
I agree. But the problem with that stat is it's such a small sample size in the big picture. You can look at that and say 99 attempts were super successful, but what were the outliers with those attempts?
Yes.
How open were receivers? What did it take for Hurts to go to there? Because having a 123 rating is great, and I think it was a 78 or 79% completion percent is also great. But that to me tells me that Hurts is only going there when there's nobody near him.
That's right.
There's nobody near the guy in the middle of the field. When defenses are playing to the outside and they get the opening. So I don't think that's a bad thing. I'm happy Hurts uses it in those moments, but I don't believe that that number would stay the same if there were, let's say, 400 attempts.
You think that's more Goddard across the middle of the field, giving the middle of the field success? I don't remember AJ in the middle. I don't remember
They never
Devontae.
use AJ. They don't use Devontae in the middle of the field. That's why Sean's saying that in the chat, that
So
Devontae's a
the most
depot guy.
successful per pass player on your team the last 5 years has been Goddard?
Probably. I don't have
That's what it
I don't
sounds.
have the actual stats on that. But
Isn't that what that number kind of dictates? Goddard's really
Probably.
the only guy that goes across the middle of the field. Zander, listen to this number. 93% of his passes in 5 years go to the numbers. I mean,
yeah, this is a crazy low number. I mean, I see Prince cry. I mean, that's a fucking crazy low number. That's too low. I mean, I don't know how they're winning this much.
I'll tell you. You tell
me
if
Fangio deserves an award.
You tell me if you think that this happened. I think the offense was going south in 23. But what saved the offense was Barkley signing in 24. They were going down that lane of failure anyway. Barkley gets here in 24. Zander, they were going down that failure success at the beginning of 24 with all the turnovers in the beginning of the games. Barkley extended it. Don't you agree?
Yeah, but if teams are going to take that away, I mean, is that what it looks like?
That's to Nick's credit.
Yeah, but that's why last year looked like it did, because when they took away Barkley, they had no answers.
And it started reverting back to 24 a little bit. Or 23. I mean, wow.
I mean, Princess is a tight window. That's why he doesn't like to do it. But my question with that would be like, isn't that kind of NFL passing? I mean, they're not. Prince is saying because I said the middle is open. Prince, he threw the ball 99 times in four seasons, dude, and that's not a lot of times. Now, if you're going to sit here and tell me that 123 is because he's fitting the ball into tight windows in the middle, maybe, but he doesn't want to do it any other time. Why doesn't he do it any other time? I mean, I'd almost rather him have a 70% completion percentage and him do it more often. But maybe they're optimizing for those turnovers too, right? Where they don't want to keep the turnovers down and low, and throwing the ball over the middle of the field significantly increases that, and maybe that's part of it.
So since 2022, Brady retired in 23. Now you see why they drafted Mackay?
You think
they want to try to change that?
Well, I don't disagree with them. I think that's what they might try and do. I mean, look, I still have confidence that Hurts can do some of these things. I think people get it twisted of like, it's hate. It's not. I mean, he just hasn't done it yet in his career.
I didn't know these numbers existed.
Yeah, I mean, he just doesn't do it a lot. So it's fair to at least question, what it's going to look like when they do it. But Silsberg, you're right. They've made a lot of moves this summer that would insinuate that's what they want. If they came in this year and they're like, let's get some interior O-line depth. Let's get a good guy to put the sixth offensive lineman on the field. Let's get a second running back to take some of the weight off Saquon Barkley. Let's bring back a fullback. All right, I'd be like, yeah, they're trying to win the same way. Makes sense. They've won a lot that way, and they're trying to redo what they did in 24 with a little bit different look. They've went away from that.
Do you agree? Without AJ, this is how you would stop the Eagle passing game. I'm going to get two guys up on the line of scrimmage, and I'm going to jam those wideouts, and I'm going to make that guy throw across the middle of the field. And this is why they've hired all these personnel changes guys, Dontavian Wicks, Lemon. They got Stowers. They've got all these guys because I'm telling you, if you're a defensive coordinator, Zander, I'm jamming Lemon and I'm jamming Devontae. Dude, without AJ there, I'm playing man coverage on the Eagles. I'm not playing zone. I'm playing man. That guy.
Dude, Hurts is good against man.
99%. Okay, if I jam those wideouts on the edges, we'll see how good he is with man without AJ.
Well, that's fair. This is an interesting point here too. I mean, look, I like to add all the context. JP
Yes.
says defense has stacked the box in the middle of his clock. Maybe that's a part of it for 25 where they tried to take away Barkley. Naturally, you have more 7-8 defenders in the box. It's clogged up in there, and you don't go there as much. Could be a part of it too. Look, football, man. There's a lot of different factors here, but my concern isn't as much about the previous numbers. I don't really care about the rate since 2022. My concern is more about, and it's not even concern, it's just my analysis would be they're changing to something that would mean that he's going to have to do a lot more of this. I'm not feel you want to whine about 22 and 23 and 24. I mean, I'm done with that. They were successful in those years. So who cares about the past stats? The question for me is the projection to the future where they hire Mannion. They're talking about an outside wide, a completely different scheme, an outside zone type of running scheme that throws the ball over the yard, gets everybody involved. A lot more to the middle of the field is what these offenses traditionally do. Drafting of Mekhi Lemon, even the Hollywood Brown thing. I mean, that's a dude who wins a lot in the middle of the field. I have to look into Dontavian Wicks and how much he does there. I know he was a little bit of a different target because they had so many receivers in Green Bay. Goddard, obviously, even Eli Stowers, dude. They just drafted their top 2 picks. I mean, Eli Stowers is he's a glorified receiver that plays tight end and wins all his pass catching comes over the middle of the field. So that to me is like, all right, that's enough evidence to say they want to throw the ball over the middle of the field more. Maybe that'll help Saquon.
Man, this is really enlightening. Really is. So let me ask you this here with Eli Stowers. You agree they're changing the offense, right? You agree. All the personnel.
It looks like it, yeah.
Okay. Who makes more sense in a spread offense and attacking the middle of the field? Eli Stowers or Dallas Goedert?
Well, it depends because Eli Stowers can't block, and you still do need a blocking tight end on the field.
Okay. If they're running a spread off, well, do you think that Travis Kelce's some sort of like savant blocking?
Yeah, but that's a little bit of a different style.
That's a spread offense, dude.
I know, but Andy's different, dude. He doesn't stick to one thing. Like
I don't think that guy Ferguson in Dallas is some sort of savant blocking.
He's not really.
If you want
I guess these are tougher examples, but like Sills, look at like the 49ers. Now, Kittle is obviously the best tight end in football. That's a tough comp. But I'm just saying, he does blocking really well. Look at what the Rams did last year. They were running 13 personnel with dudes who could block and catch.
Finding guys like Gronk and Kittle are like
I know.
Most of the time, you're going to find one guy with one skill set. You know what Goddard is?
Yeah, but doesn't Goddard have both?
But Goddard is good at both. He's not exceptional like Kittle.
That's true. That's true.
But you're right. However, I bet you Eli Stowers is a better pass catcher than Goddard. Who would you rather have?
Well, I mean, Goddard. Look, I think Goddard's a pretty good pass catcher. I don't think he's gotten every opportunity to showcase that, but when he's been healthy, he's a pretty good pass catcher. But yeah, I think Stowers is probably better.
You know what? But do you agree? If that number is that low, what would Goddard's career have been if he would have been with a high volume middle of the field thrower?
Yeah, probably a lot. I mean, can you imagine if let's just
because I happen to agree with you. I think he was a top 5 tight end.
Yeah, put Goddard in LA, put Goddard in Kansas City. You just brought up Kansas City.
Dallas.
I thought they were going to try and sign Goddard to Kansas City.
Yeah, how about Kansas City and AJ?
I could see it. I mean, it wouldn't personally be where I would want to send them to, but they're a team that's you played 2 Super Bowls versus that team. You want to, I mean, think about that. You're going to go back to the Super Bowl play versus the Kansas City Chiefs, and they're going to have AJ Brown on that side now. I don't know if you want to do that.
I don't want to send them to the Rams. I'll tell you that.
I definitely don't want to. They're not going to send them to the Rams. They will not do that. I think that's a 0% chance.
So you don't think they're getting boxed in on opportunities on where to send them?
I mean, I think they've always been a little bit like we talked about. There's only few amount of teams that would ever be willing to trade for a 29-year-old wideout. You have to get a contender or a team that believes they're a contender and that piece is going to put them over the top. Like, for example, you're not going to go to a team like the New Orleans Saints or somebody that's further away from contending and sell them on a 29-year-old wideout. That team wants draft picks. You got to go. That's why the Rams were a decent option, because they might be like, hey, we got a window right now. We got to maximize it. I'll take AJ for 2 years, or a team like the Patriots who feel like they're there. Boom, they can maximize it. The Chiefs are a good one because they might feel the same that they can maximize it. But you take a team, I think the Texans are a decent option as well, but they got a lot of pass catchers over there. That's the problem with that team. You take some of these other teams. I mean, I see people, put him in a Myles Garrett trade. I'm like, dude, Cleveland doesn't want him. Why would Cleveland want him? They don't even know who their quarterback is.
No. You want to send him to a place like Jacksonville.
But don't.
You want to get him with Trevor Lawrence. You want to get him with like even Baker Mayfield. You want to get him with a seasoned QB. You don't want to put him, because you know why? You'll get return on your investment, because it'll make those teams look at it and go like this. Yeah, that fits for my quarterback. Here, let me ask you this. Who's going to be the number 2 target in Philadelphia this coming year?
I think it's going to be Mekhi Lemon, but it feels like it'll be probably Goddard. I'd like it to be Mekhi Lemon, though. I mean, you drafted this kid, man. This kid's a top player in the draft this year. This kid made a lot of plays in college. I mean, I think this kid is good. You know what I don't really want to see? I don't really want to see them handle him like they handled Devontae. And I love Devontae Smith, but I don't believe Devontae Smith has been the player that he could be.
Nope.
He's not a 1,000-yard receiver, guys. Devontae Smith should be a 1,300 to 1,500-yard receiver, and even more so in some cases. I don't believe he's ever had the opportunity to get to that level of development. So I'm not really interested in drafting Mekhi Lemon at 20 overall, and then you bring him in here and you get him at 800 yards, or you get him, 68 targets and 45 catches. I mean, this guy's got to be a volume wideout, dude. Get him the ball, get him open in space. I mean, get him the football. See what he can do. See what the guy's made of. That's what I think they should do. I don't know if they will, but I think Mekhi Lemon should be the number 2. I really do.
Okay. If you're going to develop him, how do you develop a guy with no screen game, no sprint out passing, and no check down game? If you're going to want to threaten the middle of the field, do you believe the Eagles in Jalen Hurts' time, with all the coordinators, have they ever had a sprint out game, a screen game, a check down game? I'm going to tell you, Zander, the reason I say he never throws for 40 or $4,000 and 30 touchdowns, it's not because he can't. It's because they don't give him the ability to. Throwing deep passes doesn't make you a 5,000-yard passer. Check downs, screens,
it's volume. It's volume, but that's not what they all look. Even with all the changes,
you know what a low percentage deep pass is for you to catch that? It's like 17-18%. Throwing a check down, right. That's 80%. You're going to catch that ball.
Right. Well, I mean, that's not the team.
No, that comes to play calling.
Sills, if that's what you want, dude. If that, and I'm not saying you, I'm just saying like in general to response. If that's what somebody wants, then you don't got the right quarterback for that. I think the Eagles have a fine quarterback. I'm just saying that's not the right quarterback for that.
But all these moves make me think they want sprint out. They want.
I know. I just saw Bob Brown in the chat. He's like, Zander, what are you talking about? Space? There's no fucking space on the outside. And I'm like, you're right. But that's why I think they got to use the middle of the field more. Will they? Who knows? But he's right. Why is Devontae Smith not catching the ball in space? Why are A.J. Brown's rack yards way down? Well, there's no space out there. Unless you beat a man over the top, you don't have space. So,
agreed.
Yeah, it's a tough. I mean, look, it's a tough situation because, and not because I feel like they've just because of what it feels like they're doing to change the offense. If you, like I said a second ago, if they brought in everything to fix the running game and play the same brand of ball, that would make more sense to me. We might be bitching about how ugly it is, but from a logic standpoint, it would add up. Okay. Yeah. They've been to 2 Super Bowls. They've won at a high clip. They have a great back. They have a great offensive line, or at least we think a great offensive line. They have a running back who gashes teams with the legs, or at least has in his past. I mean, that would make sense. But everything they've done, hiring, drafting, signing, trading, everything they've done would insinuate that it requires a change to maximize the return, or else you're just wasting guys' talents.
Okay. Who do you believe gets back to form? Landon, Cam, or Lane?
I want to say Lane, but boy, at 36 years old, it's hard to say him, isn't it? But he had the least concerning injury, I'd say, despite the age.
Ask yourself this question, though. What's the more important position right now? It's center.
Yeah, it probably is.
You got to
Landon doesn't fit this new offense at all.
Dude, I think he's replaceable. The center. Look at all the great teams that have gone on and had success. All of them. Great center play. Dude, if you don't have – hey, how about this? You think the tush push became ineffective because Cam was injured in his back or because Landon was hurt? My opinion, a little bit of Landon, a lot of Cam.
Well, both. I agree. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think the tush push was, it got to a point where John started making some sense where he's like, dude, you have a quarterback who's fucking can squat 600 pounds. You don't even need to do that. Hike the ball, spread people out so that they can't put 10 dudes on the line of scrimmage and let Hurts pick the hole. He'll probably convert at 90% clip.
Yeah.
So,
he's a great runner. He's a great runner.
Or he was a great runner.
Okay.
John said this. He said, if Hurts is no longer going to run anymore, then we got really big. Then the Eagles have really big problems.
Yeah, you got a mediocre quarterback. Not a mediocre winner. None of that. I'm talking about a mediocre skill.
Mediocre in the pocket. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think even Hurts' fans could recognize that. I mean, that's not his game. That's never been his game. From the start of his career back through college, back everywhere.
If you took Brady's check down game away from him, how do you think he'd be?
Yeah, right. Exactly right. So I don't think it's as much of a criticism as people take it, but you know how people get with Jalen Hurts. They're very sensitive about Jalen Hurts. I don't know that I've ever seen anything like it. I remember when I was young, it felt like McNabb. McNabb could have cured cancer and he was getting shit on. And now it feels like if you say one bad thing, the Eagle Mafia is out to get you. It's just an analyzing the game, guys. I mean, that's all it is. The offense has struggled. The quarterback's a part of that. What are they going to do to try and fix it? And how does it look?
How many games does Lane have to play for the Eagle offense to have success in 2026?
12 plus.
Last year it was
and the playoffs.
Last year it was 10 and no playoffs.
Yeah, I need 12 plus in the playoffs, maybe even 13, 14. I mean, if you're talking about 4 or 5 plus games being missed by Lane Johnson, I think you're going to have trouble. Now, that's where Markel Bell will come in. That's where Fred Johnson will come in. Fred did okay last year, but obviously you don't have the same offensive line when Lane Johnson's not out there. I mean, so it also allows defensive lines to be more creative. When Lane Johnson's out on the field, defenses are scheming up how to get their best pass rushers basically away from Lane Johnson and Mailata. How can we be creative? What kind of stunts, pulls can we do to try and get this defensive end free? If Lane's not out there, you're taking your best player and you're lining them right up on the right end, right, or the right in front of the right tackle. Go win. Go beat Fred Johnson. So if Lane's missing a bunch of games, I think that's going to make things super hard, especially if you're talking about Jalen being more of a pocket presence this year, right? Isn't that a part of the equation? Yeah. By default. Okay. We're going to throw the ball over the middle of the field more. We're going to be a more spread offense. Okay. That means the quarterback's going to be in the pocket more so than he's been in the past. I think another thing to look out for this year is Hurts' pocket presence and awareness. Something that I think he struggled with throughout his career is because he's always been so good at running and escaping, that's kind of become his default system. So, like, you'll notice sometimes Hurts will be in the pocket and the offensive line is blocking, and there's no real imminent threat to get the ball out, but he kind of gets happy feet and escapes the pocket or makes the wrong read because I don't think he's been as comfortable with that in his career because so many times he'll just take off and pick up a first down with his legs. So I think you got to keep an eye on that because if they're asking him to stand in the pocket more, well, that means he's going to have to make the reads from the pocket, and be comfortable back there. If your mechanics go to shit because you got happy feet in the pocket, that's going to significantly decrease your accuracy and all those different things, which is going to increase the probability of a problem by throwing the ball over the middle of the field. So I think all of these things tie in together this year, and it will be interesting to see. I think that's something to keep an eye on, though. Hurts, sometimes I get agitated watching him in the pocket. I'm like, he's standing back there, he's getting happy feet. I'm like, oh my gosh, please just relax back there. I get it. I'm up. It's tough
Let
to watch.
me go here. I got to look one thing up. When you think of Aaron Rodgers, what's the number one thing you think about with Aaron Rodgers when you look at him and how? I'm sorry?
Arm talent.
Arm talent. Okay?
Yeah.
I want to make a point to you. Would you how about this here? Let me go down here. I gotta look at this number. I want to be double sure here. Okay. And let me look at Rodgers. Okay. If I told you, true or false, in 22 years, Aaron Rodgers has the same amount of rushing yards as Jalen Hurts does in 8 years, would you believe it or not?
Say it again. Aaron has as many rushing yards as Hurts.
20 yards in 21 years for Aaron Rodgers. He has as many rushing yards as Hurts does in his 7-year career.
7 years. I was going to say, I don't think he was 8. 7 years. Okay.
7 years.
Would
you believe that? Yes or no?
Yeah. Aaron wasn't like Tom. But he doesn't.
Aaron Rodgers was one of the most elusive guys behind the line of scrimmage.
Behind the line. He always looked to throw.
And if you would have thought that number, you would have thought he would have been 4,000 or 5,000, 7,000 rushing yards. But you know what he was? He was constantly looking for passing lanes. His eyes were always down the field. Here's the biggest issue that Hurts has. When Hurts takes – Lamar has it. I think Josh Allen has it. When these guys run vertical, their eyes drop.
Yep.
And the play's over.
And it also has ramifications on the receivers because one of the things I'll point out is the receivers stop looking for the ball.
And the secondary moves up the play.
When Aaron Rodgers, to your point, when he scrambles, the receivers are happy. Exactly. They're moving all over the place. When Jalen takes off from the pocket, you can see our receivers, they don't even move.
Over.
They don't even move anymore. And I think they should, but maybe that's because
when you play Rodgers, you're still getting deep third. You're still getting deep. When you got a guy like Hurts, Josh Allen, any of these other guys, those guys, to me, they're easier to defend. Rodgers is impossible. Hurts has got to do a better job, dude, at looking down the field as a sprint out guy. How can you be that athletic?
Well,
and not be more accurate, creating passing lanes. Maybe this is what this new coordinator
is going to
try to do.
It's hard for me to criticize him for that though, because dude, he used to fucking crush teams with those runs.
Yeah, but that's not going to be a sustainable thing.
I know. So it's got to change.
Rodgers played 21 years doing that. He's 42 now.
Rodgers is a different player, but yeah.
Dude, do you understand what I'm saying? Look.
Yeah, I do. I understand
that's the shorter window that Hurts has compared to Rodgers. Rodgers still moves around, dude. He's not as effective as he once was. However, this is where your passing game has struggled. It's all of like screens, intermediate passing, and sprint out. How can you have Jalen Hurts as an athlete like that and not utilize that more? I think that's play calling. I think that's coaching. I mean, Do you agree? When Shane Steichen had him, Jalen was making passes. Maybe they were to the numbers, but he was on the move. Or he'd take off. Shane coached him so different than any coach
you'll notice
he's
too.
ever had.
Teams are playing to take that away from him now too. Like you'll notice, like how many times last year did you watch Hurts roll to the right and he did like one of those slides behind the line of scrimmage?
Yeah,
that's because the defense closed on him out there. They knew it was roll to the right, so they're all trying to force him to roll to the left because he's great at throwing on the run to his right. Doesn't do it often, but he has been good at it. If he goes to the left, it's not so good. So right. I think that's look. This is partly what makes the NFL so fucking awesome. Is that, dude, you got to continue to evolve, and you're going to have to just be like defenses are going to learn how to play. You just got to be better than them. Sometimes how many defenders knew where the ball was going with Tom Brady, but the ball still got there and they still got the completion. Sometimes you just got to be better. And look, maybe that's what Hurts needs to be this year. Just got to be better than what the defenses do to stop them.
So you guys extend Sirianni's bodyguard, huh? Sirianni's bodyguard gets extended.
Hell yeah!
By the way, I love Big Dom. I do.
Big Dom's a fucking legend, dude. Why would you not?
I'm no. I'm just saying. I get it. I do. I get it. I'm really looking forward to seeing Sean Mannion this year.
Me too. You
can't,
Yeah, look, this is the other thing I'm done with as a fan, by the way. Here's Rice. It's just play like Brady and I'll be happy. Yes. You know what this era of Eagles football is doing to me? Forgive me. I want the quarterback. My favorite trait for quarterbacks is when they can throw the football.
Traits.
Thank you. That I have no problem saying that. If you get your panties in a bunch because of that, so be it. I want the quarterback of my favorite team to have great traits throwing the football. He asked me, Aaron Rodgers, arm talent. I want them to be able to throw the ball. Like you used to always say, well, Zander, what does Jalen do well? And don't give me intangibles. Right? Used to use that all the time early in his career. I don't want that anymore. I want to be able to say, that motherfucker can throw the ball.
You see this right here? This is what people like him don't get. If they had that mindset that they were proud of the winning, they wouldn't be making all this personnel.
That winning is a team stat. That's not a quarterback stat or an analytic or trait, by the way. This isn't boxing or tennis or golf. Winning is a team thing. The Eagles win. Jalen Hurts is a part of the winning.
They win whether it's Nick Foles or Jalen Hurts. It's how they do business. I mean, it's how they operate.
That's why they drafted Cole Payton, and I was pissed off. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Z, my throat's dying, man. I'm almost out. I'm almost out of gas here. Almost.
All right, well, I don't even get wrong. You have Cole at 4:30. You want to cancel?
Yeah. What's that?
You have Cole at 4:30. You gonna be good?
I don't know. I don't think so. I can't even keep my mouth open right now.
Dude, you need to get yourself some tea and honey.
Bro, guess what?
What are you doing over there? Are you drinking Coke? You know what the worst thing to do is drink Coke when you got a sore throat. All right, water's a little better. Get yourself a pot of tea.
By the way, I don't even. I'm not sick. I just got my.
You just have a sore throat. My shit. I don't have it back here. You need to order yourself from CVS. Tell your wife or somebody to go and pick it up for you if you can't.
I can pick
throat
it up.
Coat and tea with honey, dude. You got to soothe your throat a little bit.
Xander, I hate to do this to you, man. After the Supers, do you think we can?
Yeah, you're sure you can wrap it.
Hold on. What's the name? What did you tell me?
What do you mean? What did I tell you?
What was the stuff?
I'll text you.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry.
The cough drop. I will. David says that Chargers have changed more than the Eagles due to Harbaugh's run-heavy scheme. It didn't work due to O-line injury, and now the McDaniel finesse offense.
Huh?
What do you mean? What did I tell you? What did you tell me? What did I tell you? I'll text you. I'll text you. Okay. All right. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
David says that Chargers have changed more than the Eagles due to Harbaugh's run-heavy scheme. It didn't work due to O-line injury, and now the McDaniel finesse offense.
Actually, I think it's got more to do that they want to have more
Yeah, the
concept.
only difference with that is, though, dude, they got the
It's Herbert.
Yeah, that's the right move for Herbert.
Yeah. Elevating his passing game.
Yeah. That's the right move. That's the right move for Herbert. Here's David says, middle of field throws have higher risk of injury. CMC, Godwin, Ertz, Ayuk all missed time with injuries.
That's a great take, too. Dude, Kittle.
Yeah, but you don't build an offense around that's like an avoidant tendency where you're just like, that's kind of the whole risk averse offense that people have a problem with. It's the same thing in a different way.
Yep.
Don't throw the ball short so we can avoid that. It's like, all right, then you take it out of your game, and now it looks like shit.
Hey, I got a question for you. Would you like to hear from Jay Paterno this week?
Yeah, why wouldn't I?
Okay. He just asked to come on the show.
Hell yeah. Green tea and honey coats the throat be better. Yeah, that's perfect. Green tea and honey, that's good.
Bro, I'm going to bed after this.
I'm telling you right now, you better do something for your throat or you're going to wake up and you're going to have fucking throat pain again.
I am.
All right, here's DC Mike. What's up, dude? Trade him to the Cowboys so they can complete the triad with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. They already have the best offense in football.
Yeah.
You know what's pretty sad? You know, ready for Eagle fans to freak out before you end this thing? You know what's pretty sad? AJ is the number 3 in Dallas. Might get more yards than he would.
Oh my God.
Prescott throws the ball, man. Prescott can throw the fucking ball. Here's Cody. Oh, we got that one. Here is David. Is it because he can't or he doesn't want to turnovers? All right, we got that one. All right, we got them all.
See, apologize, man.
You're good, bro. You're good.
Guys, and I apologize to you. Yeah, I'll text Jason and tell him what's going on.
Yeah, text his ass. I don't want to do it.
Hey, do me a favor tomorrow. Ask John what he saw out there on the rookie camp, and if there was a lot of motion. Sills needs a Jimmy Changa and an ice cold Coca-Cola topped off with a Corona. I'll be fine.
Chimichanga. I haven't had a chimichanga and
my wife loves those.
You still eat those? Man, I used to love them when I was younger.
Yeah, chimichanga. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the actual. There was like a brand, like it was this thing. It was this thing. This is what I used to eat. I used to love these things. Jose Ole. Chimichanga. I feel like senorita.
Chimichanga.
I feel like senorita. Look, here it is. Here's chimichanga.
Oh my God.
There you go. I used to crush those. Toss them in the mic or whatever they were.
College?
All right, brother. Wrap it up here. I know you're throwing.
Is that your college food?
Yeah, I'm ramen noodles. I love ramen noodles.
I still love ramen noodles to this
day.
Beef
ramen noodles? Are you kidding me? I ate beef. That was my childhood food. You know, I grew up. with 4 kids. You know, when you got 4 kids, you got to feed a lot of young with not a lot of money in the account. Pasta. That's why I eat so much pasta. My mom's Italian. Pasta and ramen noodles, baby. That's a good diet when you got to feed a lot. Not a lot of protein, but
here was something in our family. My grandma used to do this. My great grandma would make 250 meatballs, and we eat them throughout the entire week. And that was our sandwiches. We put them in sandwiches shit. And that's what we did. All right,
Ryan, cut the stories. He's got to go.
Guys, I appreciate it. See,
all right, dude. Wrap it up. See you, dude.
All right, man. I appreciate it. I apologize. Hey, listen, we're back at it tomorrow. Trust me, I'm going to listen to Z. I'm going to do all this 2 to 6 tomorrow. I appreciate all of you. Thank you very much. And we'll see you on the flip side.